breaking news and weather authority.
And you heard that freight train sound. That's what was really scary, was it did sound like a freight train was coming through.
It sounded like it was touching down all over the place. We was hearing trees falling.
Biggest damages I've seen in my career with 43 years.
When I heard the second time it came, I thought I'm gone.
Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews. Northeast Louisiana picking up the pieces after tornadoes. They have been confirmed now, more than one. They ripped through the northeast area. Tonight, loved ones are sharing their memories of the two victims who were killed in Ruston. Kendra Butler and her son Remington died after a tree crushed their home. Perry Robinson has the story.
His personality. Like, we used to, hold up.
Keyshawn Davis tried to fight back tears as he reflected about his friend Remington Butler. Butler and his mom, Kendra, died after a tree crushed their home in Thursday's storm. Davis remembers the last conversation they had before his unexpected passing.
Just yesterday, I was in the gym with him again. We're just hooping. He was just smiling the whole time. It's sad that he ain't gonna be here no more.
Family members are just stunned.
They called me this morning about 2:20 and told me that that they got out and that the tornado hit the house and the tree fell on the house and that my daughter and grandson was still trapped in there.
Teammates on the basketball court at Ruston High School and best friends off. Davis says he will be missed.
Everybody at the school who knew him, they all liked him. He never did anybody wrong, and it was just, I don't know. It's weird not having him here no more.
As for the Butler family, they're still torn up. The younger brother and cousin managed to escape, but not without losing two people they loved. Neighbors are now praying for their strength.
You know, I just pray that baby, the surviving kids, the children or whatever, they be blessed and, you know, just take it one day at a time.
Well, some of Butler's former teammates say they plan to hold a candlelight vigil tomorrow in his honor. Now, Remington, who would have turned 15 in 2 days, was a freshman at Ruston High School. According to neighbor Jesse Pullen, 2 children from the Butler home ran to his home for help, but the neighbor could not make it through the home. First responders recovered the bodies of Kendra and Butler, and it turns out she was a student at Grambling State University. President Rick Gallo sent us this statement. It says, in part, on behalf of the entire Grambling State University family, I would like to offer our condolences to the family of Kendra Butler and her son Remington Butler as they mourn the loss of our student and community member. While it is difficult to find reason for events like these, we do have faith that the strong love and concern that connects us will once again carry us through as we assist in recovery. To all of our students, I want to encourage you to support and look out for one another. Meantime, it has now been confirmed that tornadoes also hit LaSalle and Union parishes. And today, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, he toured the damage in Lincoln and Union parishes. Here's Nick Pict, who is with the governor today.
From the air to the ground, Governor John Bel Edwards getting a first-hand look at what's left of Ruston.
And the epicenter of the disasters here in Lincoln Parish.
Touring the places hit hardest by an EF3 tornado that killed 2, injured more, and left almost everyone here picking up the pieces.
Obviously, it's some of the worst devastation that we've seen to be concentrated.
People like Josie Herbert. Her granddaughter lives on Tech's campus. Still in disbelief, she helped her clean up the mess today.
I have never been in a tornado in my life, and I've never seen, I think one hit the outsides of Ruston one time, but nothing like this.
But the Herberts and many others in Ruston had even more help today. The mailman, Carl Malone, delivering in a different way. It's that sense of neighborhood and camaraderie that Edwards says will get Lincoln Parish through this disaster.
What we've seen up to now in the Ruston area and really all across the state of Louisiana has been Louisianans stepping up and doing what they do best, and that is being neighbor to one another.
That said, he knows there's still a lot to do to make Ruston look like Ruston again.
That now is not the time to come to Ruston to sightsee because we have a lot of work that's going on out there to clear debris, to do search and rescue, to make sure that overpasses and bridges are safe. And we just don't want you getting in the way.
A long cleanup that has to start somewhere. In Ruston, Nick Pick, KNOE 8 News.
Edwards says a damage assessment will determine whether Ruston gets federal money, and the governor has declared a state of emergency for the entire state. Meantime, Congressman Ralph Abraham getting a first-hand look at the damage today. He and state police flew over Ruston. Abraham says it is as bad as he can remember in northeast Louisiana. He says several agencies are working on the cleanup, but it's going to take a while to get things back to normal.
Those people, they're going to be hurting for a good while. Simply getting the debris cleaned up, getting that electricity back to them, that's going to be a monumental task. The worst of it is right there around the university, not on the university per se. The baseball field took a pretty good hit. But just right there around the university, it's a lot of damage.
Abraham says Louisiana delegates in Washington are ready to help in any way they can.
Well, definitely some nicer weather tonight than what we had, well, a little later than this time last night. In fact, current temperatures in the 60s across the area. Will be slipping down to the upper 50s and low 60s for the overnight low temperatures. Coming up in just a few minutes during the main weathercast, we'll have the rest of your forecast, of course. We'll also take a closer look at the radar data for about a 4-hour time period last night, and also the track for one of the supercells that moved around 150 miles from Texas all the way to Arkansas. Again, coming up in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we continue our team coverage of the tornado aftermath. Our Aaron Dietrich joining me now, and I know, Aaron, you were in a hard-hit part of Ruston today. How bad is it?
Really bad, Jennifer, but in the wake of this storm, I found sunshine and smiles. Neighbors and complete strangers working hand in hand, rolling up their sleeves as Ruston's rebuilding process is underway.
I would say this is probably one of the prettiest neighborhoods in Ruston.
Just south of the Louisiana Tech campus, Westwood Hills, once known for charm and towering pines.
I would describe it as beautiful, elegant, treed.
Birds like crazy here.
The sound of chirping birds replaced with a buzz of chainsaws. Crews working on countless splintered trees. The serenity of this neighborhood broken in the early morning when a tornado ripped through it.
I was terrified.
It's indescribable.
I knew something terrible was happening whenever I woke up and heard a lot of the tops of the trees cracking out.
We had no idea what was going on until we walked out.
Then we went outside and it was like a war zone.
Meet Steve Thurman, perhaps the luckiest man in Lincoln Parish.
That was my bed. Were you in the bed? I was in the bed.
Thurman fell asleep in bed watching reruns. Well, that was until his view became obstructed as his roof came crashing down around him.
I was kind of shocked. It was more shock than anything. When I heard it the second time it came, I thought I'm gone.
Somehow he managed to wiggle his way through this debris to safety.
I just started pulling things off, debris and stuff that fell on me from the ceiling, and there was a couple hundred pounds of it.
He's the luckiest man I know, always.
It's a blessing that we're still here, really.
One block over, 4 Louisiana Tech football players met their toughest opponent, Mother Nature.
I felt the wind blowing and the house started shaking.
An early morning intrusion.
Honestly, thought we were getting robbed.
Seconds later, they were scrambling for safety.
I stood up out of my bed. As soon as I stood up, I heard a loud boom, like something had fell on the house.
They walk out without a scratch. A priceless experience for these student athletes.
I look at it as a phase. You live and you learn from adversity.
It's something that we can't control, you know, it's not in our hands. So
these residents know their lives have been uprooted.
We're just devastated with this, so we're just going to clean it up and see what we do next.
Everybody can pitch in the community, everybody can come together. Honestly, I know this isn't a good thing, but I think this can actually bring the community of Ruston closer together.
After that tornado ripped through that neighborhood, it set its sights on Louisiana Tech's athletic fields and stadiums. Zach Rickens brings us that angle.
I was afraid. I didn't know what was going on.
Brianna Guy can laugh with her friends now, but what happened around 2:30 Thursday morning was no joke.
I saw the alert about it, but I didn't pay it attention because I'm like, no, I got to study for class.
The sophomore with a perfect vantage point of the destruction an EF3 tornado caused on campus.
The wind was blowing. And then the building started moving a little bit, so I was frightened. I just turned off all my lights and sat there and I prayed.
What were looking like dream seasons for Louisiana Tech baseball and softball turned into collective nightmares overnight as the teams now face their toughest opponent yet, Mother Nature.
Baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, all of those, are devastated. I mean, it's really what's left of soccer, softball, and baseball, tennis. You guys will see that, but it's devastating. It's a total, rebuild for us. And so it's too early for me to answer what does that look like, when does that happen. Again, we're literally just trying to make this place safe first and foremost.
La Tech Athletic Director Tommy McClellan knows the journey that lies ahead.
If we had the money appropriated right now for these facilities, I don't know if we have them built in 9 months. So then that begins the question of, we need to begin preparing ourselves for the fact that we may not play softball or baseball, certainly soccer is even closer, at these facilities for next year. So what does that look like, and how do we do that?
Tech President Les Geis says the destruction caused Thursday will be felt for months, if not years to come, but knows the community will rally for Ruston.
Oh, this is, this is my home, and you hear about this happening at other places, but for it to be the reality of your own home there, it's significant. This is a close-knit community, very supportive, and that helps us navigate through these kind of things.
And there's no doubt Louisiana Tech and Ruston community, this is gonna forge, the family even more.
There's still so many questions to be answered, but for Brianna, her faith is not one of them.
All I can say is that was God protecting all of us. I mean, a few broken windows, but nobody was critically injured. Tell people to keep trusting in the Lord.
In Ruston, Zach Rickens, KNOE 8 News.
Lady Texans have a huge series this weekend against Conference USA leader Western Kentucky. That matchup will now be played at ULM. The Diamond Dogs are in the midst of a 9-game road swing. They are in Houston this weekend for a series against Rice. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Aaron. All right, we're going to take a break. As we head into that break, we want to share more pictures from the tornado aftermath. And welcome back. We continue our team coverage of tornado aftermath. Power lines still down. Officials want people to stay off the road and stay away. One woman told her Jessica Torricelli that she may be alive thanks to a stranger.
Many throughout Ruston left to make sense of the widespread damage. John Mitchell lives a few blocks away from the Vienna Street Bridge off of I-20, near the worst of the damage.
I saw what looked like a power station or transformer blow up, and so the whole sky was blue. Multiple times it was coming blue, and you heard that freight train sound. That's what was really scary, was it did sound like a freight train was coming through.
But just a few streets away from the destruction, Mitchell says he didn't have much damage, and neither did Louisiana Tech students Randy Roberts and Brooke Birch.
It went around us up one street and then knocked down several trees. A lot of damage to cars, roofs, walls kind of taken out, but we were very, very fortunate.
Ricky Yostin was just a few hundred feet from the tornado's path. He was staying at the Sleep Inn just across the street from a gas station, which was completely destroyed.
The windows started sucking in and out, and then I could hear the debris, hitting the hotel.
For Sarah Brantley, she says her apartment looked like a war zone after the tornado took off the roof of her apartment complex.
All of my doors just bust open and things just kind of start going around, so I just put my head under a pillow because that's I didn't have time to run under the stairs or anything like that.
She says she had no idea the weather was taking a turn for the worse and was actually sleeping through the storm until she got a phone call just before the tornado hit from a woman who was actually calling the wrong number, checking on her grandson. That call may have saved her life.
And when I got that phone call, I was like, I should probably just go downstairs for a little while. And
so that's what brought her downstairs.
Yeah, so thank God for that phone call, or I may have been taken with my roof.
In Ruston, Jessica Torricelli, KNOE 8 News.
Now, a shelter is open at the Glenview Elementary School in Ruston, and several groups are raising money for the victims. You can check our website, KNOE.com, to find out how. Meantime, a now confirmed tornado also touching down in LaSalle Parish. Reggie Wells talked with a woman who says she's just happy to be alive.
I always wondered if that was true, and it is. I didn't hear, but I felt.
Christine Rourke doesn't have to guess what it's like to be in a violent storm anymore.
I was asleep last night, and what woke me up was a big, loud thunder boom, and this noise coming behind it.
In that moment, there was only one thing she could do.
So I covered my head up and felt the house shake when all the trees were falling, I guess.
After the storm passed, she began to assess the damage left behind. Even though it left windows busted and holes in the roof, Rourke is still all smiles because she still has what is most important, her life.
I feel myself fortunate. I survived, and the Lord was with me. That's all I can say.
Rourke is not alone. The high winds leaving its mark in the town.
We've had several roofs that were blown off. One house was almost completely demolished. Several mobile homes that were blown off their blocks.
The wind even uprooting trees left and right.
Big trees fell on vehicles and crushed them, fell on mobile homes and houses.
LaSalle Parish Sheriff Scott Franklin says nobody was seriously injured.
As much damage as this tornado caused, as much property as trees fell on that people were actually in, and the fact that nobody was hurt.
But now the cleanup begins.
The good thing about living in a rural parish is that we have plenty of churches that volunteer to help. We have usually family members live close by that they can go live with while they put their lives back together. So we have good support structure in this parish, just family and friends.
Family and friends reminding Rourke one thing.
Everybody was blessed, you know, blessed, because it could have done a lot.
In LaSalle Parish, Reggie Wells, KNOE 8 News.
And severe weather and now confirmed tornado also wreaking havoc in Union Parish. The sheriff says it hit the Downsville area around midnight. People say fallen trees caused a lot of damage to their homes. Some of the worst damage is on Highway 15. The sheriff's office says blocked parts of Pardue Road have happened, plus the North Spillway Road is open, but it had trees blocking a few of the lanes. Now, Kelly Road and Foster Road got a lot of debris, and people say the storm was just terrifying.
We were in a closet, in my mama's closet, with no windows, no nothing.
I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought that this would happen to me or my family.
Reported Energy is working to get the power lines back up. The sheriff's office says some people could be without power, though, until next week. Meantime, the Salvation Army has deployed a unit to provide food and water to those affected by the tornado in Ruston. They say they're working to assess what's needed in the days to come. Plus, we're told 2 other mobile units in Alexandria and Shreveport are now on standby. And the United Way of Northeast Louisiana ready to help Ruston and Louisiana Tech. It says those impacted by the storm can call 211 for information about resources that are available. United Way 211 is a free helpline. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Meantime, the Louisiana National Guard is there helping out. They are offering meals, water, and other supplies. In Ruston, they are set up at the fairgrounds, but they also have a unit in West Monroe. They're equipped with chainsaws, dump trucks, and front-end loaders. Meantime, the Ruston Super One food store in the 1500 block of Trenton is helping out. It's offering a free case of drinking water and 2 bags of ice while the supplies last. They say the Ruston store is open for non-refrigerated foods, and the pharmacy is open, but expect delays. And the Department of Transportation now reminding drivers to treat any intersection that has lost traffic lights as a 4-way stop. They say they are working to repair the traffic lights, but to use caution when traveling through areas that were damaged by the storm. Also be aware of crews and equipment that may be on site.
Right now, your KNOE 8 News hour-by-hour forecast.
Well, it's turned out to be a pretty nice evening. As expected, all the clouds pretty much gone now, and they will remain gone for a while anyway, probably not returning until maybe sometime on Sunday. Hey, here's an updated look at the storm reports over the last 24 hours. Updated because some of the wind damage reports have been upgraded to tornado reports as expected. In fact, now appears that the wind damage there in Union Parish, as we kind of thought last night, was now a confirmed tornado. We don't have a rating on that just yet. And then also in LaSalle Parish, the same thing. That's now a confirmed tornado, pretty much as we thought, but no rating yet. Surveys are yet to be completed on that. So you also make a note here of a whole bunch of tornadoes right in a row. That's all from the same storm. In fact, we're going to take you back to last night at about this time, as a matter of fact, and watch this storm right here. This is a supercell that just continues to march northeastward, and finally it makes it into Ashley County before dissipating. Now, that particular storm produced 6 out of the 8 tornadoes that were observed across the viewing area last night, all from the same storm. So this is where it all began, so to speak, in San Augustine in Texas. That was the first tornado with a rating now of about an EF2. That was a little after 11 o'clock. So that storm continued off to the northeast and produced a number of tornadoes, EF1 in Bienville Parish, and then became an EF3 just a couple of miles to the south of Ruston, then continued through Ruston, of course, and stayed on the ground for almost 7 miles, then weakened a little bit as it went through Downsville and through Union Parish, also Linville and Marion, reporting some damage, clipping extreme northwestern parts of Morehouse Parish. And now it appears that we need to extend this line into Ashley County, as this tornado actually didn't dissipate until it got into Ashley County, dissipating at about Highway 425 and 82. That's off to the east of Crossett. So again, this path link, so to speak, was 150 miles, and that's the supercell. It wasn't continually producing a tornado, but it did produce a tornado at least 6 times in that path of 150 miles. Again, the strongest by far, moving through Lincoln Parish right through Ruston. Again, a path link of just under 7 miles at times, about 1,000 yards wide, with maximum winds estimated at about 145 miles per hour. So definitely a pretty intense tornado. All right, on the lighter side, things are pretty nice actually now in the wake of our weather system moved through last night and this morning, and now headed well off to the east. Current temperatures in the 60s. Our futurecast for temperatures probably dropping off to around, excuse me, the upper 50s to around 60 degrees with clear skies for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, high temperatures in the upper end of the 70s. Don't forget to download our KNOE weather app. We're going to come in pretty handy the last night and this morning, but again, just download it anytime. You can get current forecasts on that as well. Nice weather into Sunday, slight chance of showers late Sunday, and then again as we head into the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. We continue our team coverage of the tornado aftermath, and it was a terrifying moment for some fraternity members at Louisiana Tech. They were on the porch and they could hardly make it inside before the tornado hit. Check it out.
Oh yeah, yes sir. It was the very scariest thing I've ever been through, hands down.
A terrifying night for Mark Crouch and his fraternity brothers of Alpha Gamma Rho. Last night they were sitting on the porch when the storm became intense.
As from the minute the wind picked up, time it took to get from that end of the porch to the door, we were pinned outside almost. It took all 3 of us to open the door and get inside.
Crouch says they barely made it inside.
As soon as we went inside, the wind over there came crashing in on us. And by the time we got to the bathroom, the whole thing was done with.
The next morning, they all went outside to see their home damaged, windows busted, trees on top of cars, and heavy damage to the roof. To make things worse, they just moved into the home 6 months ago. Now, they don't even know if it's a home anymore.
There's no telling. There's no idea yet. Once we kind of clean everything up and move back, I guess we'll see.
The Alpha Gamma Rho house is just one part of the numerous places damaged on campus. Dorms and athletic facilities ripped apart, but students say as soon as morning hit, they went to work cleaning up their school.
I saw, students out helping cut down trees. People, as I was walking down the street, were bringing their trailers down to help haul out some trees.
And several people in the surrounding community are cleaning up, including Grambling State University students.
What made me want to come out here is just seeing a community in need. We're neighbors with Louisiana Tech. We have a lot of friends. We have family over here. And just seeing the tornado just running through and, impacting. And if you just see all of the debris around, we just really wanted to help and take initiative.
All right, well, last night's storms left a lot of damage in Sabine Parish as well. The town of Converse got plenty of downed power lines and trees. The police chief says multiple homes were hit by the storms. We're told the police jury, volunteers, and Sabine Parish Sheriff's Office will all be out assessing the damage and helping residents get back home. And the stormy weather put some of the performances at the Jazz Fest in New Orleans on hold. Vendors, crews, and musicians all had to take shelter. Well, the rain caused parts of the fairgrounds to flood. People say, despite the weather, though, they're still excited to be there and enjoying good food and music.
Shoes come off, you go in the backpack, you get muddy.
Oh, you have a change of shoes?
No, just go barefoot.
We have the rain suit. Okay, you have a little poncho going on. We have the rain suit, and we are ready.
All right, well, despite the lightning and the thunder, the Jazz Fest organizers said on their Twitter page that all stages remained open. All right, as we head to break, we want to share a few more pictures from the tornado aftermath. We'll be back.
It's Friday Eve, and that means tomorrow is Friday, and there's your forecast making it even better. We should see wall-to-wall sunshine. We'll start the day in the upper 50s to around 60, and the day in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Dew point temperatures likely in the 50s, making it feel even more comfortable with a nice breeze from the north running at about 10 to 15. Saturday looks just about as nice.